Hey, it's Andre here from SlickAuto. I'm here to talk to you about 200 treadwear tires. So, as we know, there's a lot of different tires that have different ratings, and the treadwear rating, which is commonly referred to as UTQG, is really a representation of how that tire should last on the track or on the street. But unfortunately, there's a lot of faster tires and there's a lot of slower tires in this category. So what we have seen in the last couple of years is a migration of those treadwear ratings between the 200s to go more to a endurance 200 like the Hankook RS4, and then we have more of what we call the cheater 200s. These are much faster tire, like the Nanking CRS, like the Vitour, like the RE71 RS. And why do we have, if it's a 200 treadwear rating, why are they different? Well, the difference is really in the durability. So if we go back to the Hankook RS4, we have tires in this category that are really durable. This is meant for endurance racing. This is meant for lapping. This is meant for the street because they can handle a lot of heat cycles. They can handle a lot of track abuse, and our local track, Calabogie, is a little hard on tires. So it can take the stress of track day where it's a little bit more abusive on the tires and still last. Whereas something like a softer compound tire just won't last. You're just going to wear through that compound. So Hankook RS4, another similar tire in these categories, is like the Extreme Contact Force from Continental, the Falcon 615K Plus, and even within those different tires, we have different ways that the tire likes to work. A lot of people like the Hankook RS4 because it's just durable. It's that lapping day tire. It's going to give you a great lap time, but it's going to give you the longevity. So you're not buying 2-3 sets over the course of a season. You're able to do everything that you need, even driving them on the street with one tire. We move over to the category that we call the Super 200s. The Super 200s are a stickier 200 treadwear tire. They should all be about the same, but they're not. And that's why we have different brands of tires, because some tires are a little bit better for certain purposes and some tires are a little bit better in other areas. So let's start with the Nanking CRS. Just a really good medium stiffness sidewall, great in longevity compared to some of the other tires. In terms of track, this is probably the next step up when we go from the Endurance 200, and if you want something that's faster, still has a bit of durability. It's certainly not going to be as durable as a Hankook RS4, but it has a lot of life out of them. And we have some spec series in Canada here that run this tire, and they run them and they run them and they run them, and the drop off is fairly consistent for these tires. You get on to another example of a Super 200 tire. This is the Vitour or Vitour Tempesta P1. It's a new tire to Canada. In the US last year, a lot of series were banning this tire from competition because it was just a little bit too fast. It's a great fast tire. A little bit faster than the Nanking CRS, a little bit more money, but also very durable. But you're not going to get the same amount of heat cycles as we're getting out of those Endurance 200s. And then we get on to something more like the RE71 RS. Here's a used set that we just took off a client's car. RE71 RS is a Super 200, but this and a few other tires are more geared for the Autocross type crowd than the track day crowd. It doesn't mean that they're not going to work on track. It just means that they're a little bit softer compound. They're going to light up a little bit faster. So for Autocross, that's what you want. You want by that second or third cone, the tires are working. Whereas on track, this tire will probably heat up too quickly, and if overdriven, it's going to get really greasy, and you're not going to get the same durability out of this tire. The Vitour, if we go back to the Vitour, and the CRS, these are more of a track tire. You can use them in Autocross. We have a lot of clients that are using them in Autocross, but they require a little bit more heat, and that's why they do so well on track, because they can handle the heat lap after lap after lap. And that's really the difference. You know, when you compare the Super 200 tires, there's a lot of choices. We have the CRS, we have the V-Tour, we have the RE71 RS, we have the Falcon RT 660 Plus, another tire that is more geared towards the RE71 RS for autocross than for lapping or track day. We have the Yokohama Advan A052, typically in the last few years was probably the fastest autocross tire out there. And now we have the emergence of the brand new Hoosier Track Attack Pro tire. And that's really a track day tire, but it's also lights up really quickly, and typical Hoosier is going to be fast in both categories. But the price is up there. The Continental, as an Endurance 200, which is the competition to the RS4, the Continental Extreme Contact Force is probably going to be about 30 to 40% more money than this great value Hankook RS4 with a medium sidewall. And if we compare the carcass and the construction of these tires, the Bridgestone RE71 RS is probably the stiffest sidewall of the bunch. So you're getting a lot of quick reaction, immediate input from the tire. You're feeling everything that the tire is doing. Whereas some tires with a medium stiffness tire, like these three, what they're doing is they're giving you consistent feedback, but you're also having it with a medium stiffness. The tire is able to maintain that contact patch on the road. So if your inputs are a little bit too sharp, you're not breaking traction on the tire. You're able to keep that grip on the road, on the track, and not lose that lap time. So that's really the difference between our Super 200 compounds. There's a lot of choice out there in the market, but these are great options for your street car, for your track-only car, or autocross car. There's lots of choice in tires these days. Cheers. Thanks for watching.